Thinking that it happened overnight, it didn't. In it for the long haul flight, committed. Wanted me to fail out of spite, I didn't. All bark but they don't bite, they timid. Thinking that it happened overnight, but it didn't. In it for the long.
Twilight, my way, the end.
It's all about the antidote.
Twilight, my way. Hey, what's up guys? It's your girl Sarah here and welcome back to the Chateau for another video. You guys know that we always have some business to handle before we jump into the video, but we have a little extra to handle this time. I just kind of want to put it out there. I know you guys probably can hear a little congestion in my voice and it has officially become springtime here in the DMV. I love the spring. I love the change in temperature because I love me some warm weather. I love the blooms and the flowers and all of the things that go along with spring. But y'all, spring does not love me back. That is allergy season for me. And boy, is it attacking me this time. So I want to apologize in advance for all of the congestion that you may hear in my voice. This is actually much better than it was a week ago. Now let's go ahead and handle our business. So if you are an existing subscriber, you guys know I really appreciate you. And I just want to tell you thank you for returning. And thank you so much for all of your views and your shares and your likes. The channel is growing and I really appreciate it because it's all because of you. If you are new here and you have not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are into life improvement tips and sprinkling your life with just a little bit of luxe, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You will not want to miss the content that I have in store. Now let's go ahead and get into this video. As you guys can tell from the title, we are going to get into some of the routines that I established at the very beginning of my journey. We've already talked about quite a few things on the journey, and the foundation of it all really is routines. I shared with you guys before that this was a very weak point for me because I gave myself so much grace in life. I just felt like I'm an adult now and I don't have a mom and a dad to tell me what I need to do. I live on my own. I'm the parent now, so I can just live as I like to live freely, giving myself all of the grace in the world. But you and I both know that at this point in life, you cannot accomplish too much without set routines in specific areas of your life. For me, because I had eliminated so many things, so many distractions in my life, I really wanted to handle this journey in a very organized manner. So I needed routines in order to do that. I actually set for this time period 3 different routines that I tried to stick to, at the very least, the foundation of them all. I had daily routines, weekly routines, and then monthly routines that I wanted to follow at least for the first 12 months of my journey until I could kind of throw other things back in that would add more to my plate, but I could handle them because I had already mastered the foundation of those routines initially. So we're going to talk about them just like that. We're going to talk about the daily routines first because those were the most difficult for me. You know, to have to do something every single day, 365 days a year, it definitely takes a lot of discipline. And yeah, when you're used to not having set routines, it's difficult to establish that discipline. So I'm going to share with you guys exactly how I did that. The weekly and the monthly were a little easier because I just, put them in on the calendar and made sure I took care of those things very easy. But it's the daily ones where I'm telling you, the struggle was real. Now, if you watched any of my previous videos, then you guys probably can already guess what I did first when it came to establishing the daily routines. Hello, I grabbed my handy dandy notebook and here it is right here. I've never shared it with you guys before, but I wanted to bring it on the channel this time just so that I could share a few reasons why I chose this particular book. One, it has a little portfolio case that's very durable, right? It could go through some things and still survive, still look nice. I can clean it off and all of that. So I thought that that was appropriate. Two, I purchased this insert that has dividers, no limitations of lines or anything, just so that I could jot ideas down in any way, shape, or form that I wanted to, use stickers if I wanted to, and then if I ran out of pages, I can just add more. So anyway, here's the handy dandy infamous notebook that I'm always referencing. Now, the first thing I did was I grabbed this notebook and I went to a new page and I began to jot down some of the things that I feel like are forced routines, right? As an adult, we all have responsibilities, and there are things that are required of us if we want to have a home, take care of our families, eat every single day, and just have money to enjoy life, right? So as you probably can imagine, some of the things that I think of when I think of forced routines are things like work, right? Like, I mean, if I could just not go to work and survive, I probably would do that, but I do have to go to work every single day. So I wrote down things like work, we have to wash our clothes, we have to take care of our children, we have to eat on a regular basis, just little things like that. Actually, just big things like that. I made sure I wrote down so that I can consider them in all of the extra things that I wanted to add to a daily routine. And then when it came to her and some of the routines that I know she has, according to moi, I wrote down what those things were, just so that I could then do a little exercise of sprinkling them into the schedule, right? We all have 24 hours in a day, and I wanted to make sure I considered all things that I had to and that I wanted to consider whenever I came up with this daily routine schedule. So let's go ahead and get into some of the specifics behind that and how I established the routines. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that establishing routines is not as easy as it sounds, especially if you're a parent or you have to work on a daily basis, or just all in all, if you have a lot of responsibilities. It can be very, very intimidating to try to add in some structure into your life, and then thinking about adding a list of items to your daily routine. I know that it probably can be really, really scary, but I'll tell you that one of the first things that I tried to do when I was looking at the list of things that I had to do, like those daily responsibilities of going to work and cooking and cleaning and etc., whatever that looks like for you, and then adding in things that I really wanted to do, what her daily schedule looks like, I tried to do things that could maximize my time, right? Allow me to take advantage of that 24 hours that we all have in a day. For example, I tried to do a little something called routine stacking, where I could use the same hour or 2 minute whatever of the day and knock out 2 routines at one time. I'll give you guys an example of something that I thought was very, very easy for me to routine stack. One of the habits or one of the routines of her was to move her body daily, right? That's something that I wanted to make sure I included daily, because even though, like, I love walking, I love cardio just in general, but I definitely had my moments where it wasn't a part of my daily, weekly, or even monthly or even yearly routine, right? You know, sometimes you start off really, really strong, and because you did not establish it as a routine necessarily, something that you wanted to do for your future self, and you had goals attached, you know, sometimes you can fall off. But for me, I just wanted it to become second nature. In addition to moving my body daily as something that becomes second nature, I also wanted to make sure I was filling my mind with things that could help evolve me, help develop me, give me the knowledge and the encouragement that I needed to stick to the journey, stick to some of the very, very difficult parts of the journey, right? And that for me was certain podcasts, certain music, certain things that others would consider entertainment. But for me, it was feeding my soul and giving me the encouragement that I needed to stay focused on the healing portion of my journey. So I considered those two things, and I decided to routine stack. Instead of just listening to the podcast just randomly, right? Or watching a podcast randomly, I reserved listening to the podcast Netflix and watching those things for when I worked out, right? And even if there was a TV show where I felt like I needed a moment of like a mindless entertainment, I would not lay in the bed and watch those things. I would save that for when I got on the treadmill and I would walk, or when I was walking outside, I would listen to it, right? So that's what I would consider routine stacking. Instead of reserving an hour for, you know, doing cardio and an hour for listening to the podcast, I would put those things together and use the same hour to knock both of those routines out. And I'm telling you guys that even though initially it may felt like it was like overwhelming or intimidating to look at this list of things that I wanted to add, routine stacking was golden. It helped me out so much, and it made me feel like, well, okay, this isn't that difficult. I can accomplish these things using the same exact hour. And what does that make you feel like? Winning. And that's what you want to feel like, right? You ultimately want to feel like you are winning at this journey and improving yourself ultimately. And that was just 2 of the routines. A few other things that I knew I wanted to add. I knew I wanted to cook breakfast for myself every single day. I'm not really a really big dinner person, and obviously my family needs to eat dinner, so we have to have something in that area. But something that I specifically do for myself is make sure I make breakfast every single day. It is literally my favorite meal of the day, and I wanted to make sure I made time for that before I went to work. So you guys hear the list is building. We are working out. We are making sure we are filling our mind with something positive, something that will feed our soul. We are cooking. I also knew that as a part of my routine, I wanted to make sure I spent time with my youngest son, and that's Mr. Lux, my baby. I wanted to make sure I spent time with him before I went into work. I also wanted to be here and around for when my son went to school, right?
See you
I
later.
wanted to make sure I was here to wake him up if necessary, and he's really good about getting up on his own, but at the very least being able to say goodbye to him before he leaves out of the door. I wanted to make sure I had time to do my skincare and appropriate body care, and ultimately overall I wanted to make sure I had a slow morning. That right there is luxury to me. I know people talk about a lot of material things as luxury, but to me that's where I consider sprinkling my life with luxe by ensuring I'm having a slow morning. So anyone can squeeze all of these things into their morning routine or their daily routine by rushing, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want those items to become a burden in addition to things that I was required to do. So I made a few adjustments in my schedule to ensure that I could get all of those things in, right? So the first thing that I did, because I had the flexibility at work, I changed my work schedule. Now, it's probably the most undesired work schedule, but I don't know. You guys might consider it the most desired after I share with you all what I'm able to do with my mornings. I modified my schedule to 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 10:30 to 6:30 p.m. just all depending on how the morning goes. But I have that freedom to be able to modify my schedule and work those hours, right? So in thinking about the fact that I need to be at work at 10 a.m., the way that I establish what my morning routines look like is I count it backward, right? So I know that if I need to be at work by 10 a.m., that I need about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, to drive to work, right? So that means I need to leave home by 9 a.m. Right? So if I need to leave home by 9 a.m., that means I need to be dressed and ready by 9 a.m. I need approximately an hour to get dressed and ready. So that means I need to be getting dressed for work by 8 a.m. My son actually needs to leave out and go to school by 6:55, 7 a.m. So I know I need to be home at that time. I need time in between there to be able to spend time with Mr. Lux, take him for a walk. And then even before my son wakes up, I need to have been at the gym and back home. Right? So in doing all of those calculations and counting backward, I arrived at the fact that, you know what? I need to be up by 4:30 a.m. so that I can start my gym time by 5 a.m. And I know that probably sounds insane, but there are benefits to that too. So I'm pretty particular. Okay, I am I'm insanely particular, but we're going to leave it at pretty particular for the moment. And I become attached to certain things unnecessarily. Don't judge me. At least I can admit it. When I go to the gym, I like to use the same treadmill every single time. I don't know what it is. I just become attached to that one for whatever reason. It works better. I don't know, but I know that about myself. So getting up and getting to the gym by 5 a.m., it kind of ensures that I'll be able to get the machine that I want. Before I leave the gym, I also love to get in the sauna, right? And I think that like boosts the calorie burn or something to that effect that I read, right? So I know that I need to at least get on the treadmill, or I wanted to get on the treadmill for at least 60 minutes, right? And I know I want to get into the sauna for at least the 20 minutes that's recommended, right? Based on what I read online. So I know that I needed at least an hour and 20-minute gym time, right? I also needed about 5 to 10 minutes to drive to the gym because it's literally right around the corner. And I have to tell you, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there. I absolutely do have a gym, like a treadmill, elliptical, weights, and things like that in my basement. But for me, I wanted to definitely leave out of the house, put on my cute workout outfit, and head into the gym. It's just motivation for myself. So knowing all of that, I came up with my schedule, and yeah, that's how I established what I wanted my daily routine to look like. Now, implementing it, that's a whole other story. Now, I'll tell you guys that in my younger days, following this routine to a T would have been super duper easy, because when I was younger, and I mean like 30 something and younger, I was such a morning person. Could wake up super early in the morning and just get the party started. Do you hear me? Never woke up on the wrong side of the bed or anything. I just could go and get that party started. But something happened when I turned 40. A lot of some things happened when I turned 40, and that's a different video for a different day. But I knew in order to establish these routines and like follow them, I needed to work at it, right? I knew that I couldn't just wake up the next morning, you know, have my gym clothes on, be at the gym, working out, in the sauna, blah, 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 blah. No, I knew that it was gonna take work to establish those routines. And it's important to me to share this with you all, because I actually had someone tell me like, gosh, you're so disciplined, like you just make a decision and you do. Oh, no, that is not how it worked at all. And this is when it gets real. I knew that at that point, I wasn't necessarily used to waking up that early in the morning, let alone getting up and moving my body that early in the morning. So I did a few things to prepare. The first thing I did was set my alarm, right? And I used Alexa to set my alarm. And I know she's gonna say something. She didn't, but I used her to set my alarm so that she could wake me up every single morning at 4:30 a.m. right? So that was the first thing I did. The next thing I did is I knew that in order to stay motivated to go to the gym, I needed to have cute gym clothes. I am a girly girl. I love having my nails done, hair done, and my outfit pulled together. But you know that that was not the focus during the journey. But I'll tell you that if I was going to the gym, oh no, I needed loads of workout clothes and different colors to play with so that I felt good about going, right? And as I made progress, even though the focus was just to move my body and not necessarily to lose weight, we know that a side effect is going to be losing weight. So I wanted to have cute clothes so that I could see my body transform as I made progress, right? So I went out and I bought myself a whole boatload of new workout clothes so that I could have things that you know, like I could play colors that I could play with, and outfits that I could pull together. I bought myself some new gym shoes so that, you know, again, I would have options and I would have things to play with. So that was all preparation for what was to come, right? So that I could be motivated to get up and put that cute outfit on. The night before, and this is a part of the evening daily routines, I would pick out, you know, what I was going to wear the next day so that I wouldn't have to stress about that. But I also allotted enough time in my morning routine to change it if I needed to change something based on how I felt. But I would pick out my gym outfit too so that I knew what I was going to put on as soon as I woke up. Right? So those are things that I prepared so that, you know, I could get up at this 4:30 a.m. time that I was no longer used to getting up at. Honey, the real of it all, even with all of that preparation, for at least a week and a half, the morning went a little something like, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Girl, I could not get up out of that bed. And to be honest with you, I didn't pressure myself to do so. I wanted to take baby steps, right? And I wanted to, at the very least, wake up. Right? I didn't have to jump up out of the bed. And I knew that eventually, over time, that I would at the very least get up and put my clothes on. But I did still give myself grace for at least a week and a half of me hearing that alarm go off. You guys saw it. Me telling Alexa to be quiet. And then just laying there and, you know, thinking like, okay, you know what, in a few days, I'm going to make sure that, you know, I get up and I put my clothes on and then I drive to the gym and then I'll work out and blah, 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 blah. So I say all of that to say nobody is perfect. And I know that plenty of people had these misconceptions when it came to me and my behaviors, but I gotta work at it just like everybody else. And I wanted to share the details of me working at it just so that you know, no, sometimes it takes time. You can wake up and not go to the gym, right? You can wake up and just, you know, move around your house, start preparing things so that on the day that you are ready to go to the gym, you can get up and go and do that. Now, I have to be honest with you, even though I gave myself grace, I gave myself some grace. It wasn't unlimited, right? I didn't wake up for a month, 2 months, 3 months and just say, Alexa, stop, so that, you know, I felt like I was making progress. I really wanted to make progress. The ultimate goal was to live the life as her and establish those routines now so that I would have them down pat by the time I became her, right? So I did that for a period of time, and then we got the party started. And I have to be honest with you that it got to a point where I literally looked forward to waking up the next day. I literally looked forward to, oh, you know, what am I gonna cook myself breakfast? I would be thinking about that in the gym. And after a while, I got it down so good that sometimes I could hit the grocery store in the morning, leaving the gym on my way home so that I could, oh, you know what, I'd like to have a parfait. Oh, I'd like to have bacon and eggs. I'd like to have an omelet. Those things I was able to think about and take my time and make sure I had them. I will tell you that it definitely improved my quality of life. After taking thorough care of myself before I made it to work, when I finally got to work, oh, I felt amazing. I feel amazing because I established that daily routine, and I definitely would encourage you to do it as well. There are some little things that I may have added that I didn't share here, but if you think of things that, you know, you consider in your daily routine, some things that you help to jumpstart your daily routines or just things to improve your life on a regular basis, definitely share them down below. You know, our little community that we are building, you know, we're here to help one another. I want to share what I implemented in my life, but I also want to hear what you guys implemented too, because it could help. But anyway, so I say all of that to say that is how I began to establish my daily routines. Those are some of the things that I consider on a daily basis so that I could ultimately become her. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think we've gone long enough, and I know that we haven't had the opportunity to cover the weekly and monthly routines, but I'm actually going to cover that in a part 2. So next week we'll talk about those 2 routines. Before you guys go, do not forget to give me a big thumbs up if you'd like to see more from me. And if you are new here and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. You absolutely will not want to miss the next one. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
It's all about the antidote.
It's my life, my way. The end.
It's all about the antidote.
It's my life, my way.
It's all about the antidote. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's all about the antidote.